So my name is Mickey Gaminal. I am the founder of Gaminal Tutors. I help people join the United States military at the highest possible level by crushing their ASVAB entry exam so that they can pick a job such as engineering or scientist or cryptographer. I want to set you guys up so that you can pick the best job for yourself. So if that's something you're interested in, look me up, Gaminal Tutors.
I'm Paula Williams with ABCI, and we help aviation companies sell more of their products and services by providing marketing services and sales training.
I'm John Williams, and I work for her. I do the back-end stuff for ABCI. So what she said.
I wish my husband would do that for me. I'm Trish Machiri, and I'm with Charterly, and we do private jet charters. So we connect people to alternative travel that's outside of airlines, and so we do passenger and cargo charters. My vision is to get more people chartering, because a lot of people don't realize that it's a service that's accessible to them, and a lot of people feel that chartering, involves chartering a Boeing business jet, so they don't realize that they could maybe go for a King Air or something within their range. So that's what we're trying to do, and I'm finding that in Canada, people actually don't realize that. They say it's an emerging market, and there's very little chartering compared to the US, so that's pretty exciting to be involved in that.
Hi, I'm Debbie Murphy. I'm the VP of Marketing and Digital Strategy for Jet Brokers. We help our clients buy and sell jets, turboprops, and some piston aircraft.
So today we are talking about the book 500 Social Media Marketing Tips. As you can see from the cover, it's very, very specific. Yeah. It covers Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest, LinkedIn, YouTube, Snapchat, and more. And it does so pretty in depth. It's a lot of tips. I mean, it really is exactly what it says, 500 social media marketing tips. So I'll just say one thing that I liked about it, and then we can go around again if that works for everybody else. Mm-hmm. Cool. And then anytime you guys want to cut off or anything like that, like, hey, tell me more about this, feel free, jump in. This is more of a collaboration. I know that I'm saying that we're rushing, going to person A to person B, but you're more than welcome to jump in. It's not that strict of a thing. I don't have my gavel with me today, so. All right. So I really like the YouTube section. The YouTube section talks about all of your YouTube traction needs to be done within 24 hours. I have a YouTube channel. I was just looking it over. I have about 30 lessons on there that are free and accessible, but I never got anything, viral or a dozen, even hundreds of views. I got pretty low views. And I'd like to, I realize there's a lot of missed opportunities in my YouTube. Basically, collaborating with Facebook and Instagram. If you create a YouTube video, you can post that to those other platforms very quickly, because the first 24 hours is going to be where YouTube kind of ranks you. So if you get more traffic to that YouTube video within the first 24 hours, you're more likely to pop up in other people's feeds. And there's a surprising amount of people on YouTube. I really thought that Facebook was kind of the bee's knees of social media, and particularly for my target audience, which is younger people. A lot of them are not as Facebook friendly as I would have expected. I would have expected them to think Facebook is kind of like the Google, right? Like it kind of runs the whole social networking thing. But it turns out that they're a little more interested in newer technologies and older technologies such as YouTube. So I know that I could use YouTube a little more efficiently by posting that YouTube video and then hitting up those younger mediums such as TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook all at the same time within that 24-hour time frame. And that was the one tip that really resonated with me.
So you've changed your workflow. Now you're posting first to YouTube and then syndicating to the other media, right?
That's what I'd like to do. Yeah, that's what I've learned from this book. So I haven't done that yet. I haven't implemented, but I know that I'm creating these videos and then posting them, but I don't think I'm doing it in a timely manner with YouTube kind of being the instigator, the first step, and then start shooting everything out. Because what I do is kind of every social media platform has its own thing, which is not efficient. It takes, I have to do 6 different posts if I'm going to do 6 different posts. Whereas I could just do one post from YouTube and send that out on email and send that to everyone in different methods.
But you are posting it first to your own website, right?
I'm not posting it to my website. No, I haven't been.
And you're screwing up because YouTube can unilaterally decide they don't like what you do and pull it all off.
That's true.
And then where are you?
Then, yeah.
I post to YouTube first because it optimizes your video, adds keywords in the background, and then I download it and post it to my website.
That's good.
I've always done that.
Yeah, posting a video.
As long as you do that immediately, you're good.
Yeah, I do it that's like my workflow. I make the video, I put it there, and then I put the video everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I don't stop. It kind of just goes out into the world from there.
That's really smart. That's a good idea.
You don't want to upload a video to your web server. So I don't want people to get the wrong idea from that, because it can really it can bring down your site. It's not designed for that. So I think YouTube is a perfect backend for a website.
Okay.
Yeah. Because as you said, Debbie, it optimizes and speeds it up and does all those things. So
it changes it. It sort of works out whatever you've done wrong with it. If you don't know.
Exactly.
You work out the kinks on YouTube, and then you can kind of throw it everywhere else.
Right.
Good deal. Cool. How about you, Mom? What did you find?
I was focusing mostly on LinkedIn, and the reason is because I kind of get into this cycle of doing what I can measure. And the problem is I use SEMrush, to do a lot of our reports and things like that. And so it measures like your LinkedIn company pages. So I got into this thought that I needed to increase the audience of our LinkedIn company page. But after reading this, I figured out that I don't need to worry so much about the LinkedIn company page, because all the action happens on the personal pages. So, you publish something to your LinkedIn company page, and then you share it from your personal page with a comment or something like that. That gets a whole lot more activity than just publishing it on your company page and making that be the exclusive place that everybody goes to and trying to increase that audience. Almost every customer I've ever gotten from LinkedIn has come from my personal page, not from the company.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
So I need to stop obsessing over what I can measure, because SEMrush doesn't measure personal pages. It just measures company pages. And so I was thinking I needed to increase my audience on my company page just because that's what gets measured. And that's really a dumb way to go about it. I really need to focus on the way that it works, not on the way I want it to work, if that makes sense. So I'm not trying to make LinkedIn into Facebook and make it behave like Facebook and making it behave like my company page on Facebook does. It just doesn't work that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes really good sense. I can understand why the user accounts would be a little bit more where the action is as well. I see that on Facebook too, but you say Facebook might be a little bit different. I know my Facebook page doesn't have as much support as my personal page. Right.
I think it's probably true on Facebook as well, but you can build up an audience on Facebook a whole lot easier by saying, like my company page or whatever. People will do that a lot more readily than they will like a company page on LinkedIn. And I think it's because it's just a little bit less user friendly. Yeah. So anything you ask people to do on LinkedIn is a little bit of a stretch, but the customers that I've gotten to my website and that have actually called me from LinkedIn are higher quality customers than any that I get anywhere else. And if I look at my reports, all the actions on Instagram, I have never gotten a customer from Instagram. So, that's another thing about not getting too hung up over the reports, get hung up over your pipeline spreadsheet and, where was the source of each of your customers and how did they find you the first time? And it's almost always LinkedIn, I would say 3 to 1 over any other social media that I've been using. So that's kind of a nice revelation.
Nice. I like that. I like that you're focused on LinkedIn. I feel like some people would say, oh, I get 3 to 1 on LinkedIn. I'm a master of LinkedIn, and would just kind of shrug it off. But it sounds like your head's in the right place in that you think LinkedIn is paying out the best, and therefore you should continue to double your efforts there.
Right. Double down on what works. Right. That's the strategy for this month anyway. I might change my mind next month.
Well, we got a long 2021 ahead of us. Hopefully it wasn't as long as 2020.
Oh my God.
We got a long year ahead of us.
All right.
Well, let's not even say that. I thought 2020 was going to be way better than the year before. Boy, was I wrong.
Right. It's like a bad word now. It's not mentioned in polite conversation. All right. I'll keep it to myself. Go ahead, John. What did you get from the book?
Well, I typically eschew most social media anyway, except for LinkedIn. But if I had to give somebody a tip, it would be talk to Paula, because she's the most widely read, intelligent person I know to start with, and she knows this stuff on social media. And in fact, she wrote a book on social media, 2 books on social media. Go talk to her. That's my tip.
That's a very nice thing to say. But.
No, that's not a nice thing to say because it caused you work. But I'm just saying.
Nice. I like that. Defer. It's probably a good call. Right on. Well, but I think there's something to be said for that too, right? Like everybody kind of has someone who knows the different channels better than they might. And I think that's a valuable resource that often goes overlooked. So good stuff. Go ahead, Trish. Do you have a social media tip that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think I'm still sort of experimenting with social media. And I listened to a lot of Gary Vee this year. Does anyone listen to Gary Vee?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And yeah, so Gary Vee was very instrumental in getting me out of my box. And he said, just post a video. It doesn't matter if it's good or if it's bad, just go and do it. And that's been really like, it's been really good for me. And I've seen that the more that I post videos, I think the more the better the videos are, and I'm getting a lot better and more confident at speaking in front of the camera, because I don't like the camera in general. So
Nobody does.
Yeah, I'm not, a selfie person. I don't take pictures every 5 minutes, and I feel self-conscious in front of the camera. And maybe it's because I'm always hiding somewhere. I was, as an engineer, we were never out in the limelight, so we were used to hiding. So that's been really, I think it's been very good, maybe even for my personal development and for the business as well. Like I can express myself better. I think even on the Zooms now, I'm showing up better. And it's, and the more you talk, the better it becomes, because I've been hiding for a long time. So so my tip, I think we're all doing it already, is just show up and do what you need to, try what you want to try. Thinking about trying Facebook ads. I haven't really used them, but I'm hearing that a lot of potential customers are on Facebook, and so doing the A/B testing, I haven't started, but I'm on my way to doing that. So learning.
I like it. I think you covered one that's not really in the book, and that's action first from your Gary Vee experience. And I think that that's something that is overlooked. I think that's actually a really good point. And by the way, you look great. You're doing great on Zoom. So you look like,
Thank you.
You got frames behind you, and you're in the square. You're good.
Thank you. Oh, can I mention one thing? I think I have a friend who is really good with the camera. He studied what's the course called? I don't know, but camera something. I don't know, like
cinematography or something.
Cinematography, yes.
Okay.
So one thing he mentioned to me yesterday, actually, because I went to get a light yesterday, and he said you should have 3 lights. and I've got one light. And so I was like, oh, so that's why I keep getting the shadows and things like that. So that's been quite interesting.
Right. That is amazing how, if you look at someone's video setup that really looks good on camera and you look at their room, it's usually a mess because they have things hanging and things clamped to the wall and other crazy things because they have to get that 3-point light,
Right.
So
Makes a big difference.
To look good.
Hey, we're building a new studio for Paula, and right now it looks immaculate because it's all white walls and ceiling,
and there's nothing in it. It's beautiful.
But the guys that are going to install the cameras, which will be sometime next year, will going to come in. They're going to hang a track on one part of the ceiling with a camera on it that rotates around like this. And then the camera itself is point, tilt, zoom. And then there's going to be one on the floor coming out. And it's going to be lights hanging down and cables. The picture will be great. Mm-hmm. But if you look at the room, it's going to look like crap.
Look like a studio.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And I wanted to mention, Trish did a video not too long ago on LinkedIn, and I think it was your introduction video. And that one got a lot of, and I'm looking for it now. It was so far back that I'm not finding it, but you got a lot of interaction on that, and it was your very first post. So it was really well done, I think.
Yeah, the community is very supportive, and nobody's going to say your video was poor quality, or I'm not going to buy from you because you make terrible videos.
Right. That's not what you're selling
anyway. To me so far.
Yeah, we're not selling videos. We're selling.
No, we're not.
Exactly.
Awesome. That's true. Good. That's great. That's so reflective of what you were talking about, right? That's that action first, right? You just whatever came to mind. So that's great.
Very gravy.
Yeah. And I did one last week. Well, not last week, but last week I did a series of posts because I read that the posts get more feedback than the videos. And that turned out to be true. Because I got more interaction on the words than the video, on the written content. Now I just don't know, like, should you post every day? Like, it feels like it's too much.
I hear you. And there's a lot of work that's done. And actually, there's quite a bit in the book about how often you should post on different media. And it's different for each media. Like for Twitter, it's like, you could post 5 times a day. And that wouldn't be too much. And on Facebook, it's kind of once a day is kind of a limit. And on LinkedIn, once a day is probably the limit there, or maybe a couple times, 3, 4, 5 times a week. I guess you just have to test it and see when you start losing, people's interest, and that's too much. But just add one, and then start backing off when you see a decline, I guess.
I guess it has to do with how the feed works.
Yeah.
Each one.
And Debbie, you've got some great series that people come to expect. So, you post those updates on a regular schedule, and then you also post aircraft. So I think, you've got 2 or 3 different types of posts that you post regularly, and people get used to seeing those. So you're posting.
But then I post news items, and I've added quotes because I've been taking your social media. Well, is it my turn to speak? Because I'll tell you what.
Oh, yeah. Run with it.
I actually was reading this book and taking your social media course. So I was sort of blending the two together. So, so I'm not sure which. I think it was partly that I was optimizing my hashtags and my YouTube. What do you call
just
it?
The tags. I think they're called tags.
The text, the text in YouTube. And that was an interesting endeavor to figure out where you needed more hashtags and where was too many. And
cool.
That was good. And what was the main one I was doing? Is that an Instagram I was working on? I guess both of them. But I do a lot of social media, and I do it on a regular basis. I have a schedule that I send out email, and it's what I talk about every week. So I like think up and talk with my sales guys what we're going to talk about, and then I make all the things that go with that all week, and I share them through LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So, and I don't do them. I do more on some and less on others. Twitter, I think you can do multiple times a day. I think you could repost what you're posting every so many hours. And I think it would help people see it more. Instagram, I think you'd get annoying. I don't know how. But we have a lot of followers on Instagram, a lot of comments and a lot of interaction. But what I do is very visual, so I guess that works.
Yeah.
Or Instagram. But.
Works much better than consulting. And people will look at your Instagram profile and see the history of what you posted. Nobody ever does that on Twitter. Nobody ever looks at your profile and sees kind of the history and things like that. So I think that lends itself to the repetitiveness of Twitter, where you wouldn't do that on Instagram. You don't want to repeat yourself.
And I make sure that I ask people to follow me on the other platforms. I don't have a schedule, but I guess you could have a schedule where I have like a really nice graphic with our logo and something interesting on it that looks like us, and say, follow us on YouTube, follow us. And people do. I mean, it's like a way to grab people from one place and bring them to another. So I highly recommend doing that. I don't know if that's in any of these places, but I would add that. Smart.
Yeah.
I like that. It sounds like you have a few then. It sounds like you talk to your salespeople, which is important. And you also like describe what you do by saying that you tell stories, which I think is pretty telling about the kind of posts that you put up. I think that's what people are there for. So that's great.
So that's what social media is about. If you're not telling someone a story, you're not doing the right thing. You need to tell them a story.
Yeah.
Even if it's a small story.
Nice. I like it. Very cool.
Quality over quantity, right?
Well, by listening to Paula, you can understand why she's my tip. You talk to her. She knows what she's doing.
She does. I take a lot of advice from Paula.
Good. That's very nice. I'm actually glad you're enjoying the course. And so you're doing a series of quotes. Is that right?
I did. Well, I actually used your recommendation. I used Canva, and I went because I do use Canva. Sometimes I don't always make the graphic in Canva. Sometimes I borrow the graphics and rearrange them from there because I'm picky. And so I decided just to do exactly what you said and made a series of Instagram squares and found different backgrounds that I liked and looked up quotes. And so I have a series, and I posted one in our marketing page.
Yes, I saw that this morning. That's great.
That was where that was from. That was one of the 6 quotes I came up with.
That's fantastic. I really like that. So you're welcome to post in the group anytime. Everybody is actually. So
I figured I should have said this is from Paula's social media. I'll change it.
Cool.
Try it. It's not hard.
Right. That's another good point is, a lot of people feel like if they posted something on social media that they're stuck with it. You can actually delete posts and you can edit posts. You can't guarantee that somebody doesn't have a screenshot. So I don't recommend doing anything you're going to regret terribly. But if you make a mistake, it's almost always fixable. And it's not like we're public figures, in the writ large. So, it's not like anybody's going to come after us for a misspelling or
yes.
So don't be afraid of it, I guess, is a good tip as well. It doesn't necessarily come from the book. They're kind of not in the mindset. They're into the tactics. So,
yeah, it's very tips oriented. But I think that is something. I remember the first time the price of my tutoring service got out on a group that does a lot of ASVAB tutoring. And I was freaking out. I was like, oh my God, they all know how much I charge. And, this is going to change everything. But it doesn't. It's social media. They didn't care. Not even.
Yeah, you were past, but that was old school went past it after a while, right?
Yeah. It didn't. I don't think it took any time, because they're playing Fortnite at the end of the day. Like they're going to go play video games or whatever. And they don't care,
Mm-hmm.
They only care about what they care about. So. Right. I think we get in our heads a lot. and don't take that imperfect action, which is really important.
Yeah, it's very Trish and very Gary Vee, just do your thing, gosh darn it. And what was it, rule number 6? Stop taking yourself so gosh darn seriously.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Sweet. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, does anybody have any other tips, any social media tips that they want to share? I got one.
Make a plan. Do
Make
it.
a plan. Yep, good.
Just do it.
What do you do for your plan? Do you have a calendar, Debbie?
No, I have like a thing that I do every day. I'm like a ritual person. I do this and I do that. And so I take whatever I send out an email and then I share that everywhere else. That's just whatever I'm talking about. I talk about it everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm really boring.
And then you're consistent.
That's
right?
a good
Yes.
plan.
Yeah.
But so I know what I'm going to do. It's really easy. And then there's other things. If something interesting comes up, or I always share that too. I mean, I also make sure you read social media, read your competitors, read things that have to do with what you're doing. And if something interesting is there, share it.
Yeah.
Be part of the conversation.
That's cool. It sounds like you have a lot of freedom in your current role. You have a lot of you get to choose what goes out there.
She runs the company, I guess.
Owns the company.
I run my part. I don't do the other part. They have the hard job.
That helps a lot.
I just have to share who we are, what we do.
That makes
We've
sense.
been really busy this year, so it's been a good year.
Right. Yeah, and to your point, routines I think are fantastic. So that's why we're kind of promoting the Follow Fridays and things like that. So if you can spend some time reading posts from your top 10 most wanted customers and your top 10 competitors every Friday, that helps you keep up on what's going on, and then make comments on other people's posts as well, which really the rule of reciprocity helps a lot there. So
that's how I learned to do social media.
Yeah.
Is I don't think I posted for I've been doing it for a long time. I don't think I posted for the first year I did it, and then it was like, okay, I get it.
Seek first to understand.
Yes.
Good for you.
It's cool. Do you stay in pretty good contact with your competitors? Is that something?
Do I watch them all the time? Yes.
Well,
do I talk to them all the time? No.
You're not.
But the guys who work for me talk to everybody. So work with me.
Gotcha.
We talk to our competitors. They come to our sessions, our education sessions. They are always downloading our stuff and things which I think is just fine.
It's a compliment.
Yeah, and
collaboration.
Really a competitor, because there's always stuff that they can do better and stuff that we can do better. So I have no problem with referring.
Yes.
Business. I think that's a good thing that helps the community as well. So
our business wouldn't work if there wasn't, lots of people selling jets.
Yeah,
we always collaborate
all the time, right?
Yeah, that's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Makes sense.
How about charter, Trish? Have you run into that as well, where people are trying to put a trip together and they find that you have a better option than they do, and they work a partnership and things like that with you guys on trips? Or
sort of.
Yeah.
I haven't really experienced that so much, but I like to refer people to, if I can't do something, then I would refer them to the next person. And because if they can help him or them, then, it's better. And I totally think that collaboration and working together is how we, build the industry and the businesses. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I can see, where maybe some of those events maybe there's something going on in the United States or something going on in Canada.
Yeah.
A lot of people moving at the same time, you could do some collaborations with other charter companies and
yes,
a lot more good for a lot more people.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Plus, we want to make our customers happy.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been known to refer my customers to airlines. So, and if it's the best option, option, I don't mind, because there's no point in someone putting tons of money on a credit card if they can't afford it, because they need to go somewhere. If the airline's going that way, then why not?
Mm-hmm. I'm sure that will go both ways as well, as airline people who are putting those trips together learn that about you guys as well. So, and are able to add that as an option and maybe add that onto an airline trip. Maybe say your last 100 miles would be a charter on top of it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense most of the time, especially for international flights, because you don't want to charter all the way across, oceans, unless you have deep pockets, of course.
Right.
Yes, and a lot of people.
Yes.
Sweet. Well, cool. I like the calendar idea, or the rituals rather than the calendar. It's probably
it's a habit. Yeah. It actually makes it very easy. It should just be, it's natural. It's just like it's like having a daily conversation with your information with people.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, that's what you do. It's exactly what you're built. That's what you're trying to create. So that's great.
Right.
Cool.
Trying to create a community, not just be a megaphone, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Sweet. So is there any other social media tips that anybody wants to share?
I'd say with this book, I'd say whatever grabs you, look at it every once in a while and check it out, because it's a lot to digest. So I will come back to it and make sure I evaluate different areas every once in a while.
For sure. It is not a cover-to-cover narrative.
No.
It's a reference book. Right.
Sounds like a manual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it reminds me of Tools of Titans, where you just it's got so much stuff that you can just pick it up, open it to whatever page, and hopefully something will work.
Something's useful. Yes.
Cool. Nice. I like the explanation on how to use the book as well. Well, then I guess we can kind of pitch out. Unless anybody else has the final word. Good deal. All right. So my name is Mickey Gaminal. I am the ASVAB guy for Gaminal Tutors. So if anybody's joining the military, any branch, let me know. I'd be happy to help you get in at the highest level.
Fantastic. Paula Williams, AVCI. We help aviation companies sell more of their products and services with marketing and sales training.
John Williams, and the occasional business consultation I take care of. Aside from that, I do all the back-end stuff for her.
Trish Materi, Charter Lead. We help you move your people or goods from A to B via private jet. I shrunk it a bit.
That's good. I love it. That's great.
Debbie Murphy with Jet Brokers. We help our clients buy and sell jets.
Perfect. Yeah. Great work, guys. Good stuff.
Bye, everybody. Nice to see you.
Bye, everyone.
See you all next time.
Thanks so much for coming. This was great.